All right, everybody, come on in, come on in. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk with Maggie and Lucy, where we believe the older women should teach the young, just like the late, great Kevin Samuel said. We like to come on here from time to time and share with you all from our own lived experience, a combined 40 plus years of marriage. So, Lucy, greet everybody and let us know, what are we reacting to today?
Hi, Maggie. Hi, everyone. Yes, this is going to be an interesting one. I believe it's someone that we haven't reacted to before. I don't know if it's maybe AI generated, but the actual clips that they show are really interesting. And it goes back to men are no longer pursuing women, which is a scary thing, but this is the main consequence of the trajectory of how women have been told that men are uh, what they absolutely are not. But now men are saying, okay, you said this, then this is what we're going to do in return.
Absolutely. So, your two disclaimers, and we're going to get into it. Thank you so much, Mr. Gravy. We love hearing what you all have to say. So, feel free to put your comments in the chat, and we'll bring them up on the screen if you're on Facebook or YouTube. So, this is a new channel. I did request permission to react to it. So, this one is called Virtual Brother. The link to the video is in the description if you want to watch it without our commentary. It's only about an 8-minute video. And like Lucy said, it is a montage of different clips. Lucy and I are here for the young women who prioritize marriage and family in their prime. If you want to do something else, that's totally fine. You're just not going to be happy here. So I want to make sure that I say that. But a little preamble before we begin. Now, this video is called Men Aren't Pursuing Women Anymore. And one of the things that I didn't think about, and those of us who marry young, Lucy and I were both married early to mid 20s, you skip over a lot of this dating chaos that happens. And so, young ladies, that's another benefit to finding and being found and getting out of the dating market. I wouldn't want to be out here trying to figure it out. So, if you have an opportunity with a man that you admire and respect, take him seriously. But the problem is, women have been beating their chest and telling men that they're creeps and, being offended by a compliment. We're not talking about anything weird here, but, ladies, you have shouted from the rooftops that you want men to leave you alone. So they have. And I'm hearing this now a lot, that women aren't able to find or be found by what they want. So the moral of the story, ladies, all of our actions have a consequence. And for me, the fear is that that's where it all begins. That's where the spark begins. A man finds a woman, if they both, have similar values and like each other, get married, have a family. That's what helps our community and our society. And if that's, not your problem, that's fine. But once you get older, you start thinking about the legacy that you want to leave, and you start thinking about what is the world going to be like after you're gone. And so it is a priority for us. So we're going to get in here. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to watch this clip by Painful Clip and see what we can learn from it. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and let's get in here. Men aren't pursuing women anymore.
Men don't approach women anymore.
Can somebody explain to me why I don't get approached in public?
Why men do not approach me in public?
Why are men not confident enough to walk up to women now?
Guys not making a move anymore is so
frustrating.
I'm starting to think I'm ugly because nobody approaches me.
I know I'm gonna dress up, look really, really cute, and there's gonna be a lot of cute men around, and they're just all gonna just stare.
Men will just like stare you down, like they won't say nothing to you, they'll just look at you.
Come on, guys, make the first move.
Like, no one even says, like, hey, like, what are you drinking? Like, like, what are you doing? Like, not even just like friendly conversation, like nothing.
Women have been voicing their frustrations all over the internet, claiming that men are no longer approaching them. They've even taken it a few steps further, saying that men no longer beg or yearn for their attention.
I want a man who...
All right, let's unpack this. And I know we have several men in the chat. Hello, Highway to Skinny. I would love to know if you care to share, if there is a reason why you can help us understand why you all don't approach anymore. A few things for me from that first clip. I want a man. I want a man to approach me. Men don't approach me anymore. I'm going to dress up really cute. There's going to be lots of cute guys there. I want a man. I want a man. I want a man. Thank you so much, Sunkissed. So the red thread for me, and ladies, we have to understand and admit this about ourselves. This ego and this entitlement that you are going to step out of your front door and the man of your dreams is going to come falling at your feet, begging for your attention. And this is a flaw that unfortunately a lot of attractive women have when you're used to getting that attention. I always say I am happily average and I win people over once I get to know you. But when you are used to getting easy attention, you think it's always going to be that way. And, from my humble opinion, how selfish are you to think that the moment in time when you are the cat's meow, not only is it always going to be that way, but it should always be that way until you're ready to hang it up and stop being everybody's pampered princess. So I would say this, we just talked about this in the finishing school. Ladies, if you do not have a heart of service, if you do not think about how am I going to be useful to the man that I want, if you want a real relationship, if you just want tongues to wag and people to crane their neck and buy you drinks and start over every weekend, this is not the place for you. But if you really want someone to take you seriously, ask yourself, do I show up seriously? If you have a man who is giving you his time and attention, how are you making his life easier? How are you making his life better? How are you taking any of the little pebbles off of his plate so that he can better handle the big rocks? If you just want attention, okay, you got it. Now I'm looking at you. I'm talking to you. What else is there? Or is this where it begins and ends? What would you add, Lucy?
One particular thing that caught my attention was that they said men only stare. But that's the way I would see it is they're not staring. They're looking to see if there's any sign from the other side to say, yeah, I welcome that look. I am giving you, it's kind of like that throwing the handkerchief for the guy to pick it up. Young ladies do not know how to flirt anymore. They don't know how to get those social cues to say, he's not staring at me. He's looking at me to see if there's any sign for me to say hi or, any kind of coyness or funny stuff that they're looking for just for them to say, okay, she's approachable. We no longer have that. And it's because young women have been conditioned to accept the bear instead of the man.
All right, so let's see what the men are saying. Thank you so much, Sunkissed, for the $1.99. We appreciate that. He says, blessings to you, beautiful ladies. Thank you so much. We at Landon Price. Landon says, thanks for speaking on it, ladies. Now that everyone has own audience, no boundaries, no real expectations, reality and internet to different things. Not sure if I understand, but I appreciate the feedback. And I would say this in response to what Lucy said. growing up in a time when, a man would strike up a conversation with a woman, maybe with a joke or a compliment or something witty or something, if you were younger, maybe poke a little fun at you. We have lost that charm and those social graces and being able to take a joke and kind of flirt and the way it used to be so easy. I don't know why. I was married before the time of all this swiping and everything is just so mechanical and robotic and awkward. But that's what Lucy and I teach in the finishing school, ladies. If you know how to actually have a conversation and find things that bring you together, you would be surprised how much more um, interaction you would get from the men that you are interested in. All right, we got the condemned here. He says, not to fear, ladies. We are still pursuing women as we always have. The terms and conditions are just becoming, more known and aware in today's relationship ecosystem. The barrier to entry has risen. All right. So thank you for sharing that. Another thing that stood out to me, these women, and there was one that was like full neck tattoo. Y'all already know Lucy and I have done plenty of content on tattoos and what it says about you and not being taken seriously. Do what you want to do, it's your body. But yes, the terms and conditions have changed. But I will say this, ladies, you have to understand a man's nature. Men study before they approach. And why is that? You always hear me say, we are not equal, we are equally valued, but we're very different. Men know that they can't just rush out head first into traffic. It could cost them their life. So they have to study and kind of read the room and make a calculated risk as to whether or not I want to approach, it's safe to approach, what's going on here, is she spoken for, does she belong to anybody? And I'll give you all a little tip from what we just said in our finishing school. Ladies, do you look approachable? Or do you have a neck tattoo from ear to ear that says, I am covered in trauma and I want the world to know? So if you are not approachable, agreeable, because of the way that humans have evolved, people judge us instantly if we are friend or foe. So if you've got your makeup on and you're, snatch this and all that, you're sitting up there like, where are all the men? Well, would you approach you? Do you look like somebody that, would be warm and welcoming? I could have a conversation with no guarantees. Maybe it goes somewhere, maybe it doesn't. But, they say we attract what we reflect. And I think if we put less emphasis on the outside, yes, looks are important. But once a man does give you his attention, is it worth it? What would you add, Lucy?
Yes, and men are experts are figuring out who the friend or foe is. So if they see all of those tattoos, they see those barnacle looking long hair with stuff on them. I mean, they put you in a different, they put you in two different, camps. They put you in a wife camp, or maybe this is fun camp. Again, you have to be very careful about the way you present yourself. You can say, yeah, people shouldn't judge me by what I look in the outside. Unfortunately, real life tells us otherwise. So again, you make that choice. You either, want to live a long life alone, doing your own thing. That's great. Or do you want somebody to be, part be part of life with and together, and be able to have that representation? Because again, the man sees, is this the woman that I want to represent me if I'm not around? So again, it's that ability to say, this is somebody that I want to be my wife, and this is somebody that I don't.
Great point. One more comment and then we'll continue on. I see over on Instagram, the Invisible Man says, my wife and I met at work and she approached. And ladies, look, I know times have changed. We are still very primal in a lot of things. But, I'll say two things because of how we have told men to go far, far away. It may require you to get up off of your bottom and actually speak. I'll tell you all something I never shared. My man, I introduced myself. I saw somebody who looked interesting that I wanted to get to know, and he wanted to get to know me, or I wanted him to get to know me. And so I just walked over, put my hand down, and I said, "Hi, I'm Margaret. Nice to meet you." And of course, he was floored by that, and the rest is history. But ladies, if you think that you're just going to sit up in your castle as a pampered princess and somebody's going to swim over broken glass with sharks and scale the tower wall to come, walk across the room to talk to you, for you to look them up and down and say, whatever you need to say with your eyes, just consider yourself forever single. Let's go back in.
Who yearns for me?
Yearn for me.
Bring back yearning.
Bring back men who beg. I want my love to feel like an 80s R&B song.
What happened to men being utterly obsessed with people? Like, why don't I have a man utterly obsessed with me?
I want someone to get on a plane and chase after me when I leave dramatically.
I want it to feel like a 90s rom-com with Matthew McConaughey. I don't care which one. It just needs to be starring Matthew McConaughey. That's what I want it to feel like.
Bring back men who yearn. I want to be yearned for.
This summer, if you're not gonna yearn over me, honestly, please get away from me.
They expect men to chase them even after rejection. Why? Who knows? Maybe just to boost their egos. But when you ask women where they're actually seeing men like that, they instantly point to fictional characters.
John Cusack.
Oh dear. All right, ladies. Oh my gosh. Let us unpack this one. I'm going to double down on it. The nerve of you. How dare you howl at the moon that you don't have anybody to yearn for you? And I know I grew up with 90s R&B music, and I love a good crooner love song. But ladies, let's talk about the real world, all right? What you want from men, they do to the women who they have chosen that show up for them loyally and make themselves useful and irreplaceable in their life for decades. You will not get that on the first date. You won't even get that, for the first few months. I think this lack of delayed gratification and thinking what you see someone who's been together 10 years, been through a war together, 20 years, all of that, you're supposed to have that on day one. You are delusional. It's not going to happen. Think about it the other way around. What would you think of a man, let's say your brother or somebody that you cared about, that went out on one date with a woman and was serenading and singing songs and ready to lose it all just for her? You would say, have you lost your mind? It's not going to happen, ladies. And as long as you still think that fictional world is going to be your reality, you will remain single. Same thing, the commentator said, I love a good romance novel. I love a good rom-com, or, any of these fictional stories. In my mind, I'm a Disney princess too. In the real world, I'm a woman who works and takes care of her loved ones. So you have to stop overlaying what you think you see in someone else's life that could be a fictional character or something that is totally made up, and judging your real world experience by that. Like Lucy says, real relationships are uneventful. You will have moments of joy and love and tenderness, but that means you know nothing about men. You don't know how they focus, how they work, how they sacrifice, how they grind. Our students in the class before said now that they're looking at the world around them, the men that are getting up, the people that are getting up at 4 or 5, 6 in the morning to hit the bricks are men. So they live in the real world. So expecting a fantasy outcome from someone who lives in the real world will keep you alone. What would you add, Lucy?
And unfortunately, with we women, we listen to women rather than listen to the men that are telling you, this is what we want from you. We feed off of whatever nonsense, Disney story, rom com story that we prefer to hear rather than hear the reality. Men want something different than what we're reading in those stories. I believe Jordan Peterson, I think he's a neuropsychologist. He said that the archetypes that have been studied that women fall for in all of these rom-coms are the surgeon, the billionaire, a pirate, a vampire, and a werewolf. Are you kidding me? Those are the rom-coms that sell better. I mean, those are incredible, nonsense. First of all, what are the chances that we're all going to fall in love, that a billionaire is going to fall in love with any of us? What are we living within that environment? No. A surgeon, those surgeons are probably focusing on what they do, and they're already married. They have a wife. So chances are that if they already have a wife and somehow they fall for you, you got to question that behavior. Pirate, are there pirates? Do pirates still exist? A vampire? Oh, okay, that's plausible. And then a werewolf? Right. That is something insane. But we, in our own, make believe minds, we think that that could actually happen in our lives. And I think it's time for other women to start saying, stop being delusional. Stop it. That's not going to happen. Let's come back to the real world. And these are the type of people that might fall in love with you if you have the capacity or the characteristics or the feminine traits that men want.
Couldn't agree more. We're going to take a look at the comments. Thank you all so much. You had me at vampire, werewolf, and I can't remember whatever the other one is. Ladies,
Pirate.
pirates. Oh my goodness, these fictional characters. And ladies, I laugh, but it shows the level that we're willing to go to make the story that's in our head come true when it's never going to come true. And not promoting ourselves, but this is why you need older women to speak to you, to snap you out of this. When you're around your girlfriends and everybody's single, I remember being little and I have my Barbie dream house and I'm going to have this color car and pool and your Barbie dream house. We feed that to each other. Yeah, girl, you go, girl. You can do it too. You have absolutely no singing talent, but you can be an American Idol too. No, you cannot. And that's how men talk to each other. They will straight up say, man, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Now, I'm not saying that we need to be that harsh, but I am saying that, ladies, if you're not getting the outcome, could it be that what you are expecting doesn't happen ever? And I'm going to tell you, if you want to be with a wealthy man, you need to be there before he makes his wealth. Full stop. Once that man has arrived, it is a needle in a needle stack. That's why we encourage the young women to choose wisely in their prime. All right, let's see what you all are saying. Hello, Victoria is in the house with us. Erin Laura is laughing. I'm laughing too, but it is true. We got the condemned here. He says, if I see neck tats on her, all I'm Okay, let us continue on because we are going to focus on the elegant content. Thank you so much, Messy Michonne, for being here. And I'm going to skip over it, because I don't want to say anything that's crude. But ladies, it's true. Lucy has said this. The way you present yourself, men categorize us instantly. It just is. They will put you in the for real category or put you in the for fun category. So ask yourself, look back at the treatment that you've been getting, what you've been attracting. Have you been around for a long time or have you been around for a good time? It's just how it is. All right. All right, we've got Mr. Grevy. He says the women are on social media saying that they don't want to be bothered. Leave Black women alone. Don't approach them anywhere unless you're looking their best at the club. A wife is not at the club. And Luke, thank you for sharing. And ladies, I'm going to say a husband's not at the club either. All right. So yes, these women want men to yearn for them. You haven't earned it. I said it, full stop. All right. You don't just show up and get that kind of treatment. It has to be earned. You have to earn the yearn. All right. SGN says, why should men approach women when 9 times out of 10, the rejection from cold approaches has everything to do with her feeding to her Disney love fantasies? Yes. Ladies, the marketing genius is real. They will have that man on the cover of the romance novel, and you think he's going to leap off of that book into your life. He's going to come out of that Tyler Perry movie with his muscles rippling, and he's going to say, where have you been all of my life? Yeah. This is the material that keeps us coming back for the rest of the story, but staying still in our own lives. Everybody has flaws. Believe me, even you. Yes, you too have flaws. So, like Kevin Samuels used to say, as long as you're crazy doesn't make him crazy and vice versa, find somebody that you can work with and get out of this dating market. You all do not want to be out here. Missy Michonne says it is nonsense. All right, ladies. So don't be that one. Thank you. Squiggle agrees that this is absolutely true. Yes, we are seeing this. I know it is everywhere. The Condemned says, I learned in my early 20s, women really don't desire the men that chase them. I chased my purpose instead, and the women that wanted to follow me followed. Yes, ladies, this is what's happening now. Unfortunately, for us or for y'all, you have either told the men to go far, far away, or you have not been the type of woman that would make a man want to inquire about you. So men are shutting down all of the effort that they put into relationships with a stranger, because that's who you are. I know you think you're great, you're a stranger, and they're putting that into their own purpose. They are building, they are growing, they are promoting. The men that have ambition are putting their effort into their ambition. And now the onus is on us to be worthy of them. So you had a long, good run, ladies, but now it's your time. This is what you asked for. So have at it. What would you add, Lucy?
This is, it breaks my heart because unfortunately, young women have been told given such terrible advice by design. And unfortunately, now they're seeing the consequences of all that horrible consumerism messaging, and also, sadly, feminist messaging. Because it comes from the TV, it comes from the schools, it comes from everywhere. So even young ladies that are wanting to keep that traditional thought, they are fed that information from everywhere. So again, young ladies that are in their 20s, if you have somebody pursuing you that you think would be a great husband and a great father, I think this would be your opportunity to say, yes, this is the time for me to say yes to this man and show him how I can be an asset to his life.
Absolutely. A few more things, and we're going to go back in. We got some new people in the house. I want to say hello to Mia Simone. And Natalie says, wealthy men are hard to get. Yeah, ladies, I wouldn't even try. I wouldn't even try. If a man has established his fortune, if he gives you the time of day, just be ready and know what you're getting into. It is a very different world. Natalie also has a comment here that I want to address. Natalie says, if a man is prepared, he will choose you. I dated a guy whom I knew for so long, and he chose another woman that he knew for less time. He got engaged to her and then messaged me to see me. And this is going to hurt, but it needs to be said. That is what he thought of you. And ladies, I'm not going to pull any punches here. This is what we talk about. If you have a man that establishes his family elsewhere and just reaches out to you for the fun times, for the good times, for whatever reason, that is the category he has put you in. Now, you can ask yourself, what have I done to show up as the type of woman that could be temporary? What have I done that makes me not be taken seriously? Now, I'm not going to say that that's great. You know, we know men move how they move, but I'm not going to say that a man is just going to choose you if you've been there for a long period of time. Men are evaluating, and I said this in another clip. Unbeknownst to us, ladies, you can be moved into that temporary category, but he will still entertain you. He will still spend time with you. He will still spend money with you, knowing the whole time that this isn't going anywhere because he has seen things or he hasn't seen things that he's looking for. So this is why if you want a relationship, you have to understand what the men that you want and give it to them consistently, not trying to follow what the marketing geniuses and other women who are married and have their family come up with stories for you to watch and spend your money on and wonder where your Prince Charming is. What would you add, Lucy?
And we have just seen one perfect example of how these women that celebrate feminism and celebrate all of that stuff become engaged. Taylor Swift and all these girls that followed the feminist things that she was sharing, now they're upset because they're saying, wait a minute, you shared all of these things, we followed along, we believed it, but now you're going this way. This is very strange. And notice that a lot, if you look at history, all of these women that share that feminist concept, they were all married. Why? Because they knew that marriage and relationship worked for them, but they were gatekeeping that fact to sell something different. So again, consider the source of the information that you're taking and you're listening and you're following, and make sure it's something that matches your values and what you want to do in the future.
Yeah, we're going to go back in, but ladies, let this be a lesson to you and let Auntie Maggie tell you everybody is going to do what's best for them when the rubber hits the road. 10 times out of 10. Do not let a pop star or your boss or a corporate opportunity or an activism protest or anything that you are giving your best years and judgment to because you think they have your best interest at heart. When there's a fork in the road and there's a decision to be made, do I do what's best for me or do I do what's best for my followers? 10 times out of 10, they will do what's best for them. And I don't blame them because it's human nature. So choose wisely. Let's go back in.
Zach in the movie holding up the cereal box over his head, playing music for the girl.
We didn't watch a man chase a girl that dropped the shoe, had every girl in the village try this shoe on until he found that one.
All of my favorite books, the men are so down bad for their women, and I can't have it any other way, and I need it in real life. The books have set the standard, the shows have set the standard, bring it back.
Heath Ledger in 10 Things I Hate About You singing in the stands, in the bleachers to the girl.
Baby, I don't even want to get deep into it. Maybe y'all need to watch it. Take some notes.
What the women earlier in the video forgot to mention is that they only want to be yearned for by men they find attractive. They get attention and approaches all the time, just not from the ones they actually want.
When a girl says she wants a guy to yearn for her, that's for the pretty guys, the cute. Yearning is not for the ugly. That's called harassment.
Why is it always the men that you're not interested in, the ones that are just so persistent?
You keep begging and pleading and I just need you and just salivating at the mouth. That's harassment. When you're cute, that's yearning. That's, working for it. That's being passionate.
Why isn't it that the men that I wish would put in more effort just don't? And the ones that I'm not interested in do?
Sorry, everybody don't get the same terminology. Because facially challenges, sometimes it don't hit the same. It just be like, oh my God, like what do you see in me that you seem to resonate with? Like, am I ugly?
Unfortunately, persistence doesn't go far when there's no attraction. It usually just gives her and her friends something to laugh at.
What? What? He's going? What? You can't send a picture.
No.
Drop a
All right, ladies, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. It went by really fast, but there was a woman who said, and I don't know if you all caught it, shows have set the standard and books have set the standard. So basically, get with the program, men. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. Ladies, you have to understand when it comes to relationships, from the type of men that you want, men are the ones that offer. We accept with grace or we exit with grace. So you beating your chest and insisting that the men do it your way, on your terms, on your timeline, is what's keeping you single. This is why Lucy and I work so hard to prepare women, because when a man is ready, you saw from that other comment, they move quickly. So if you're still kicking the can down the road and you don't know what you want to be when you grow up, he'll move on to someone else who is serious. There was something else that was said in that section which really breaks my heart. If you care about men at all, maybe you have a brother, a son, or uncle, but men know this. Did you hear her when she said, if it's a man that you like, it is passion. But if it is a man that you don't like, he's a creep. Men are built for the rejection. Men know what it feels like to get up the nerve to walk across that, floor and ask that girl to dance or ask her for a drink. And then she laughs him out of the room with all of her friends. Every man has had that type of experience. Ladies, if we were publicly humiliated like that, we would still be on some type of medication. So, because you all are so fixated with these books and movies that are not real, you have a false sense of what you actually qualify for. And I will say it again. Ladies, you need to like who likes you and get the best option from what is available to you and get out of this dating market. I'm a small town girl with a small town guy who built something together and went off and sailed into the sunset. I don't know if it's because of these dating apps or this modern world is so connected. You think you're going to get that billionaire in Dubai or that VP across the country or whatever your fantasy is telling you. The men that are attracted to you is what you have access to. Now, of course, you can improve yourself. There are things that you can do to, social climb a little bit. All of us want to improve. That's what legacy is all about, to leave things better than we found them. But you are not going to go from 0 to 100. Again, you'll just find yourselves perpetually single. So take it seriously when someone is giving you the opportunity, or just sit back and watch him choose something else. And then you'll be saying, that should have been me. What would you add, Lucy?
I agree. I like hearing Laura saying to buy vampire or pirate or werewolf. And when it comes to surgeon and billionaire, good luck with that. Again, you have to be in those environments to even be near that concept. And believe it or not, being the wife of a high value man like a billionaire is not what you think it is. You're going to be spending a lot of times alone because he's going to be continuing to create the $1 billion empire that he's created. First of all, look at what is it, Bezos and Elon Musk. You don't see them. I mean, hardly do you see them near their wives. I mean, Bezos is something different, but it's something that is just not reality, and we have to stop not living in reality, because again, when the stuff hits the fan, those that have already the husband that can protect them, we are going to be fine. Those that do not are going to be having a really hard time trying to figure out what's next, because you don't have that support system that you would have probably gotten it in your 20s, because that's when your market value is the highest, and that's when you have all these suitors wanting you, yearning for you, but you have to make the decision that you're going to be with that one that likes you and you like him back.
Couldn't agree more. We're going to get back into it. And ladies, I'm just going to say this because we hear this from the men. If you had somebody that you had access to that gave you a chance and you didn't take him seriously, and then after you've been out there and had your heart broken and stomped on and, been called just for, services, do not insult that man who took you seriously the first time. And now I'm ready. No, that's who you should have been with. Kevin Samuels used to say it. You already met your husband, especially if you're over 30. Any woman in her 20s gets a serious offer. If you didn't take it seriously, that's on you. Do not insult that man by trying to swing back if you haven't humbled yourself and led with, you know what? I messed this up. Let's go back in.
Comment below. Do you really think sending long love paragraphs still wins a woman over? Nowadays, men are waking up to the game. They've stopped chasing and started attracting, and that shift is rubbing some women the wrong way.
Can someone please explain to me why this generation of men wants to be chased by women?
What is with these dudes and thinking that they are the prize?
A man is supposed to do the chasing. It's never a woman's job.
I don't chase, I attract. You're a man. That's like your only job.
What type of man doesn't chase a woman? A gay man.
When I see a man say that he's not gonna chase nobody, I instantly think rainbow.
If you don't like women, if you don't chase women, if you don't find value in women, if you don't do none of that with women, you gay.
And that's exactly why arguing with people like this online is pointless. They immediately resort to ad hominem attacks. If you're not gay, then suddenly you're bald or have a small penis. But I digress. The truth is, the men women genuinely value don't need to chase. They have options. Just look at this clip of Chris Brown, for example. Do you really think Chris Brown is forcing these women to follow him? Of course not. That's exactly why the energy men waste chasing women would be better spent on improving themselves. Another tactic.
Oh dear, ladies. Well, that was a visual for you, and I'm not saying that is the goal, but you see what happens. The men that have made a name for themselves in whatever field that they are, they have plenty of options. And if that didn't open your eyes to realize that, yeah, you really do need to stand out for the right reasons, sitting back and just thinking that you're cute and someone's supposed to come chase you. Let's talk about that, ladies. Again, this demonstrates that we don't really understand men. I was talking to my man earlier today, and even the way that we like to connect, if we're honest, sometimes we women, we want to sit there and we want to snuggle and cuddle. And it's just like, oh, isn't this so great? The whole time a man is thinking, I'm not being productive. This isn't really useful. I'm not really advancing. So when you're asking a man, a real man, a man on his purpose to chase you, that means he has to stop building. That means he has to stop acquiring, stop growing, stop promoting, stop investing in himself to come and chase you. Number one, a man on his purpose is not going to do that because they live in a world where they want to be the best in their field. So he's not going to chase you. You're not worthy of that type of man coming to yearn for you. It just doesn't happen. So stop thinking that you just being there is going to be worthy of that type of man coming to lay at your feet. You're just going to find yourself perpetually single. And I agree, this term of we don't chase, we attract. It's true, ladies. Look at any successful man. Wherever they go, the women are there. So if you have access, make yourself stand out for the right reason. And if you have an opportunity, you better run like you stole something and your hair is on fire. What would you add, Lucy?
That was that picture of Chris Brown being followed by, the mob. It was perfect, because again, if a man is on his purpose, he's doing what he needs to do to, to live his life, how a successful life. He will have a list of specific women that are always at his beck and call. So again, when a man of that stature reaches out to you, you better be ready to be the wife that he's looking for. Otherwise, he's going to continue, because he's got a list of other women that he can, that he can contact for whatever he wants until he finds the one. And you better be the one prepared to take on that responsibility.
I love that. We're going to go back into that video, but that visual is so powerful. And my mind is just thinking, whatever you think about Chris Brown, or whatever you think about these women, overlay the man of your dreams. Did you notice that he was in front? He was leading. Nobody was following. He wasn't following anybody. This horde of women was following him. He probably didn't even know how many women were following him. But he is walking towards whatever he needs to do. Maybe he has a show, maybe he has a rehearsal, maybe he's going to work out, maybe he's going to a restaurant. I don't know. But did you notice how the man, the type of man that most women want, he's got his eye on his prize. So you thinking that he's going to stop what he's doing and turn around and look at you, not going to happen. He's going to notice there's a lot of women here. And like Lucy said, if you have that little opportunity, make sure you stand up for the right reasons. And I'm not saying it needs to be an athlete or an entertainer, but that is the fallacy that a lot of modern women think. The men that we want are ambitious, they are driven, they are busy, and they are not going to let you get in their way. All right. Let's see what you all say in the chat, and then we're going to go back to the video. I saw something else here from The Condemned. He says, that is the other hilarious part of this situation. Women know what men they are attracted to, yet so many women refuse to approach the men they want to yearn for them at a certain point. All right, let's go back in.
Women often use to guilt men into chasing them is the Bible. Out of all the verses, they love to cherry pick one specific line.
God said, he who finds a wife finds a good thing.
He who finds a wife obtains favor from the Lord. Not she who finds a husband obtains favor from the Lord. He who finds a wife.
Now, why are you, Dora the Explorer, searching for a husband?
And the one who's doing the finding is the one who is responsible to maintain that good thing.
We are just meant to sit back and wait.
It's one of many scriptures that's been misinterpreted to fit a convenient narrative. So let's break it down. What does it really mean?
Yeah, it says he who finds a wife finds a good thing.
And what does that mean?
He who finds a wife finds a good thing, which is the
and
man
find
is
it.
the
And,
one
and what
who
else?
goes
What is it? Who you find the wife finds a good thing and find favor with the Lord. But what is that? What is the presumption in that statement? The presumption is that you are a wife first before you are found.
Exactly.
Which you're not.
She is literally wife material when he finds her.
Not every woman is a wife. And I think for the women, we need to be asking ourselves that question. Like, if that's something that we desire and we want to be married and we want to be a wife and we want to have a husband, I think we need to be asking ourselves, like, am I ready to be a wife?
You guys throw out scripture like Tic Tacs and you don't understand what you're talking about, and then you try to live by it.
And let's be honest, with half of marriages ending in divorce and women initiating 70% of that number, it is safe to say a lot of women are not willing to be wives these days.
And I paused it here on this image so you all could take it all in. Ladies, ask yourself, do you show up in a way that is to be taken seriously? I feel like I'm repeating myself, but whatever it is that you're asking for, if I snap my fingers and said, okay, you got the man of your dreams. Okay, you're Mrs. Man of my dreams now. Go. Do you know what to do? Do you know how to be a support system to him? Do you know how to run a well-functioning home? Do you know how to immerse yourself into his family? Do you know how to be useful? Or do you just want him to come home from work and everything is just magically delicious because that's how it was in the romance novel that you read, and you haven't lifted a finger and you're just supposed to lay there and be cute. Are you useful? We have a question here. I'm going to answer, and I'd love to know what you all think. We have a question from Zach. I saw some comments in the chat. Zach says, do you all believe a man should ask a woman if she's in a relationship? It's a saying that says, don't let your boyfriend stop you from your husband. Now, I haven't heard that saying, but I'm going to say yes and no. And specifically, I remember my ex-husband, when he met me, he asked me, do you have a boyfriend? I don't think there's anything wrong with asking. But I will also say this, ladies, men may ask or they may ask about you. They will study and see how you move. Do you carry yourself as a woman who is spoken for? Or do you carry yourself as someone who is for public consumption? Ask yourself. Your reputation precedes you. We talk about this in the finishing school. So, two things to take away from that. If you are just wasting time in a relationship with a man that's just fun and it's not going anywhere, then you are keeping other men that may take you seriously away from you. Because as soon as a man knows that, you're messing with somebody, why? Why should he even try when there's a Chris Brown trove of other women who are ready to not have a rotation? But yes, if you think that you're playing games and nobody's going to find out and it's not going to come to the surface, people talk. If a man is going to take you seriously, his network has to speak highly of you as well. And whatever you think you're doing, somebody knows, and it will get back to him. And after that, it's over. Don't even try to resolve it. What would you add, Lucy?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. As a man, if I were a man, I would question why she's even entertaining me, trying to come for her, knowing that she's got a boyfriend. So again, I would question that behavior. Is that behavior going to be used once she becomes my girlfriend? Is she gonna continue playing these games in the future? I don't know. It's a Nikki kind of situation. But yeah, it's one of those things that men do test women to see, what character they have. And those are probably one of those questions that if you start talking to an already taken woman, what does she do? Does she say, you know what, let's keep this professional, where this is work and that's that? Or does she entertain having anything else with you?
And I love, love, love. You all know Lucy and I come from the Kevin Samuel space, and his message still lives on. But that little piece about the scripture that we love to pull out the things that benefit us. Yes, he who findeth a wife. Men are the ones who offer. They are offering the marriage proposal. That's why it's called a proposal. I don't know why y'all think in this modern world you can buy rings. You are not willing to take the bullet and send the family out to safety. So stop it. All right. Let men be men. But Kevin Samuel said in that video, and it's true, he who findeth a wife. So that means, ladies, you have to be ready when he's ready. You actually need to be ready before he's ready. That's why Lucy and I are so focused on helping these young women prepare. It's so sad for me to see older women that have, regrets of somebody who really gave them a chance and they thought it was just fun and games. And now they see him living that life in the cul-de-sac with the wife and the kids. And now you're like, no, I'm ready now. I'm ready now. I'm serious now. It's too late. So if you want marriage and family, ladies, you need to move like that every single day. And this is not acceptable. No man is going to take you seriously like this. Now, if you want to be out here and have fun, that's what you chose and everything that comes with it. All right, let's finish this one up.
Prepare to be sick of me. I'm divorced. No marriage, custody orders in place, child support in place. Don't play with me. I'm so Excited!
Excited to be divorced. Crazy when you really think about it. This is exactly why so many men aren't even approaching anymore. You never know what you're getting yourself into or how badly things could turn out down the line.
Everything we say to you is screenshotted and sent to all your group of friends. Every time we do something on the internet, there's TikToks about the icks that we do that we didn't do it right. Every time we don't end it correctly, this guy ghosted me. This guy broke up with me. This guy's a jerk. There's all these Facebook groups are like a Nashville girl. Are we dating the same guy? Like no guy, every guy is terrified of the landscape of all of this. And I should say a caveat, there are bad dudes.
And the bad dudes screw it up for everyone else. Now, I made a video last week on women being pissed that men are no longer dating. Please click the video on your screen to watch it.
All right, everybody. So let's wrap this one up. It really saddens me to see women celebrating divorce. Divorce is tragic. I understand that it happens. We've both been through it, but you're supposed to learn from what went wrong, what you did, what your part in it was, and get better. But again, the internet lives forever. And I saw the caption there. She's 20 years old, and excited to be back out here on these streets. To me, that says this is a woman that never took those vows seriously, that never really took till death do us part, that never really meant to be there for the long haul. So ladies, whether you were part of it actively, we are all paying the price for this modern condition. And it breaks my heart. Like that man said, they have to now be so calculated in the way that they move. You all saw the clip where a woman, she ghosted a man on a date instead of being respectful enough to say, you know what, I don't think it's a match and I don't want to waste your time. So I wish you all the best, but I'm going to have to cancel. Why is that so difficult? Why are you so trashy that you ghost a man on a date? And then he responds how he responds. And you're sharing this text message with your girlfriends to laugh and recording it. And now it's on the internet for the whole world to see. So again, think about the men that you know, the men that you love that took up the courage to go ask that girl in class or at work or at the party or at the dance. And she said, no, I'm not interested. And he got kicked in the teeth, but he was able to handle that privately and dust himself off and go fight another day. But now that has to be done for the world to see, to laugh at his pain. How would you feel? How would you feel if your worst moment, if the moment that you wish could be erased, if when you were not at your best, when you were humiliated or made fun of, or everybody was laughing at you, not only did it happen in that moment, in that space, but now it's out here for people to watch over and over and over again. Wouldn't you move a little differently? Wouldn't you think twice about putting yourself in that same situation? So this is what we have, ladies. You asked for it, so we're all in here now. So again, if you have a man that you admire and respect, that you have access to, that is taking you seriously, and you want marriage and family, you better take him seriously and hold on, or you can be part of the throngs of women following the one man that everybody wants. What would you add, Lucy?
Yes, and it's important as women to have compassion and empathy for all the men that are trying to search for that wife in this world. I mean, I think that there's a reason why God sends us that special person. And if he sends them to you early enough in life, I think it's time for you to say, yeah, this is the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with. And again, that's going to come with, vetting, allowing your dad and your family going through that vetting process. But if you have a man that is really pursuing you, and is committing to you, I think it would be a benefit to you as a young woman to say, yeah, this is the guy that I see myself having as my husband, the father of my children.
Thank you so much, Discipled One. As we are closing out with the $20, he says you are preaching today, Maggie. Go, Maggie, go. Thank you so much. But this is serious, ladies. This is not a game. And my heart breaks. I saw a comment on here from the Condemned. My heart breaks, kind of, but not really. These women that are throwing the divorce parties and out here celebrating a failed relationship. After you've been out here and done everything you wanted to do with everybody that you wanted to do it with, and now you're tired and worn out and you want somebody to take you seriously, and then he comes across that video of you yelling and celebrating to everyone that you're divorced, you got custody, you got child support, you got alimony, you got his money, you're driving his car, everything is great. How seriously do you think the next man is going to take you when you're like, okay, that was then, I was young and dumb. Y'all have heard it all. So again, the internet is forever. Life is real because like I said, believe me, people are going to pair off and find their one and then move on. And you'll be looking left and right like, man, it's kind of quiet out here. So if you are serious about marriage and relationship, take it seriously. The good, the bad, have some discretion and work with your man, work with your husband, be useful, show up and stand out for the right reasons. And then after you've proven yourself for many years and been a support system to him, I promise you that man will sing your praises more than any of these women that want somebody to yearn for them. All right. What would you say to close us out, Lucy?
As a reminder, I put in the chat the the Morgan Stanley study projecting by 2030, 45% of women aged 25 to 42 in the US will be single, which is an increase of 41% in 2018. So again, young ladies, if you have the opportunity, if you have that man that is probably yearning for you while you're young, I think and you like him back, I think it's time to take that mutual attraction seriously and think about having a life together to make a family with them.
All right, everybody. Thank you all so much for the engagement. Thank you, Instagram. Thank you, TikTok. We appreciate all of the comments. Thank you, Sunkissed, for the $1.99. We appreciate you so much. And thank you so much to Discipled One for the $19.99. Lucy and I are here from time to time. Just turn on your notifications and we will see you all with the next one. Hopefully this was useful. And until then, we will say adios.
Adios.